Good morning, beloveds. It's still cold out there. When I walked out the door, one of my apps said it was 46 degrees, which I enjoy. I like it when it's in the 50s in the morning, and I'm not sure how high it's going to get today. I think it looks like we're going to be in the 70s all week. So it could be a nice week. But if you're watching the news, all I'm going to say, if you are watching the news right now, is to please treat and stay safe. Treat and stay safe. At this point, I'm not sure what else we can do. So right now, that is my request, to treat and stay safe. So it is April 19th. Yeah, it's April 19th. And our title is Knowing What God Is, I Now Express All That God Is. Hallowed be thy name. Matthew 6:9 is the Bible quote. I honor my Creator by living in justice today. I give full credit to the infinite mind that thinks through me. I know that as I let God govern my thoughts and control my emotions, I will be successful. I cannot make a mistake, for I affirm that God indwells me, acts through and acts for me. This I do, for I believe that true wisdom is not of man, but of God. This wisdom is now mine, and it directs the affairs of my life. I am indebted to God for his patience, his love, and his wisdom. I pay my debts by living according to his laws. I forgive myself my own wrong conclusions and free myself from the past. Today is alive with truth, and I know that I know truth now. I believe in my own divinity and give all honor to him who brought me forth out of his own substance of love. I act with wisdom worthy of the mind which created me. I forgive and forget all evil and hold fast to that which is good. I am conscious of God at this instant. The wholeness of God is seeking expression through me. Mind never does things in parts. It always fulfills its ideas. Spiritually, I am a whole person. This means I am not frustrated, not unhappy, and not limited. All that the infinite is individualizes itself through me. This wholeness is my real satisfaction. I am now happy with a permanent happiness. To me is given the joy of knowing God and knowing him aright. Knowing what God is, I now express all that God is. I so live that all men shall call me blessed. I am a credit to God and a joy to my fellow man. All right. Well, starting off with the title is Knowing What God Is, I Now Express All That God Is. And that's what Ernest has spent, the 365 days of Science of Mind. He spent a lot of time talking about the qualities of God. What God is not is a great accountant in the sky. What God is not is a judge. But what God is a patterning intelligence. What God is peace. What God is love. What God is joy. What God is harmony. What God is unity. And those words cannot encompass all that God is, because in the end, God is indescribable. But all of those qualities of good, that's scratching the surface of what God is. And the more that I know what God is, the more that I can express that. And that is what I'm here to do. That's what you're here to do. We are here to have an experience of God as God. Or maybe I have it backwards. But we are spiritual beings having an experience of having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a spiritual experience. We just happen to be doing it in a material plane at this point. And so if we eliminate all of the things that we have been told that God is by society, culture, religion, that we know aren't true. The great accountant in the sky, the judge, the duality, then it makes it easier to see what is God. So when we go for a walk in the morning and we see a cardinal singing at the top of a tree, that's an expression of God. It's an expression of beauty. And that cardinal's not doing anything other than what cardinals do. So to be an expression of God, you don't have to do anything other than be you, the authentic you, not who you've been told you should be, but who you actually are. So, I honor my Creator by living in justice today. I give full credit to the infinite mind that thinks through me. I know that as I let God govern my thought and control my emotions, I will be successful. So, if I'm letting God govern my thought, that means that I'm focused on those qualities that I listed, the unity, the harmony, recognizing and seeing God all around me, seeing God in the eyes of the beings that I encounter, recognizing that the trees and the flowers and the birds and the bees and all of that, that's all God in motion. And to control my emotions, which it falls a little hard on the ears, however many years later this is written than when he wrote it. But again, it is what we mean, I think what he means about letting God control our emotions is to respond with love first. And then the emotion that comes after that is this love. And that does not mean that we can't respond in anger. That does not mean we cannot respond in sadness. That does not mean we cannot respond in those quote unquote negative emotions. What it means is that our first response is love, and then it's followed up by the emotion. And the emotion powers the response. So that when we react in anger to something, then we do something useful with that anger. We go and make a change that means that whatever it was that created that anger won't happen again. Whatever it is. I will be successful. I cannot make a mistake, for I affirm that God indwells in me, acts through, and acts for me. I'm making choices in love. This I do, for I believe that true wisdom is not of man, but of God. True wisdom sees through the eyes of love. This wisdom is now mine, and it directs the affairs of my life. I am indebted to God for God's presence, for God's love, and God's wisdom. I pay my debt by living according to God's laws. What are God's laws? Well, there's one. That's it. There's one. Unity. That's God's laws. Unity. Unity and love. It's multiplicity in unity. That's one of the things that Jesse was talking about yesterday. It's like, it's not uniformity. It's multiplicity in the one. There's a spiritual idea that comes out in a multitude of forms. So it's not uniformity, but it is unity. I forgive myself my own wrong conclusions and free myself from the past. So just because I have thought wrong before does not mean that I have to continue to do it. I can forgive myself and move on. I did not know. As Maya Angelou says, I did the best I could until I knew better. And when I knew better, I did better. Today is alive with truth, and I know that truth now. I believe in my own divinity and give all honor to God, who has brought me forth out of God's own substance of love. I believe that I carry that divine spark within me. I believe that you carry that divine spark within you. And I believe that when we live that God life, then we truly are honoring God. Because we were created from God's stuff. And Ernest says it right here. God's stuff is the substance of love. I act with wisdom worthy of the mind that created me, which means that I respond rather than react. I take that pause and think, is this the most loving way that I can respond? Is this the most loving way that I can respond? And sometimes the most loving way that you can respond is to let people go. So just bear that in mind. Just because you are acting in love does not mean you have to keep people in your life that are toxic to you. You get to love yourself as well. In fact, it's kind of first on the list. Love yourself. I forgive and forget all evil. I forgive and forget all evil because I recognize that evil isn't a power. Evil is a misuse of the law. When we know better, we do better. And hold fast to that which is good. I am conscious of God at this instant. And if we stop in those instances and think, well, what would God do? What would love do in this case? What would love with capital L do in this case? Then we are invoking that consciousness of God. The wholeness of God is seeking expression through me. Mind never does things in parts. It always fulfills its idea. Sometimes it takes some time, and we get to practice the art and virtue of patience. I frequently will say, patience is a virtue. It's not necessarily one of mine, but patience is a virtue. And patience isn't about waiting. Patience is about doing other things, knowing that what you're waiting for is coming. Spiritually, I am a whole person. This means I am not frustrated, not unhappy, and not limited. Spiritually, we are whole people. So while on the surface we can be frustrated, we can be unhappy, and we can seem limited, we are not limited. And that if we dig underneath to express that divine spark, we'll find that what we thought was frustration was not understanding. And what we thought was unhappiness was probably not practicing patience, not knowing who we are. It doesn't mean we will always be happy, but it means that happiness won't stick around. All that is infinite is all that the infinite is individualizes itself through me. It means that I can be anything. Anything. Any of those God qualities. I have access to all of them, as do you. This wholeness is my real satisfaction. I am now happy with a permanent happiness. So it means that underneath there is a happiness. Is it always on the surface? No. But it means that when I go to that place that has never where nothing has ever been wrong, that place where I meet the unfiltered God, there is happy. And so I can hold on to that happy, and I can bring that happy back into whatever it is that I'm doing and infuse it and watch it grow. To me is given the joy of knowing God and knowing God aright. Knowing what God is, I now express all that God is. I so live that all people shall call me blessed. I am a credit to God and a joy to my fellows. I so live. Don't tell me about your God. Show me your God. That's what he's talking about. Don't tell me about your God. Show me your God. Show me your God in the words that you speak. Show me your God in the actions that you take. Show me your God in how you move through this world, how you interact with each other. Show me your God when you meet a stranger and realize that that stranger isn't a stranger. It's just a godling that you haven't met yet. Show me your God. That's what we're called to do. That's what we're called to do. I have a love-hate relationship with missionaries because I get that they are on a mission to go and improve people's lives. I regret that frequently it's tied to converting them. That's not how we work. When we go and do good works, we go and do good works, and we show people who our God is by the things that we do, so that they choose to come to know us. We don't go to them and say, well, if you want us to do this good for you, then you have to do this. You have to become this. It's the other way around. Let me go and do good works for you, and then you choose if you want to know my God by the words that I speak, by the names that I call God. And the names that I call God are love and service and unity and beauty and truth and love. And I know I say that a lot, and I will always say love at least twice, because that's where I believe it is. Love is patient, love is kind. So our mission today is knowing what God is. Our mission today is peeling off all of the layers of what we have been told God is and revealing who God is through us. That's our mission. That's our mission every day. Because the more we know God, the more we express God. And the more we express God, the more good there is. People are constantly lamenting that we're taking God out of. No. We're not taking God out of. We're recognizing that God is all there is. And that the particular words and language that we use don't matter. It's the actions that we take, the love that we give, the service that we provide. All right, beloveds. One of the services that you can provide to God today is to take a moment and do something loving for yourself, do something kind for yourself, do something compassionate for yourself, whatever that is. Whatever that is. I would suggest to you that one of the loving, kind, compassionate things that you can do for yourself is to go get a face full of sun. It's been a little gray and hazy for the last few days, and the sun is out. It is cold. It's probably in the low 50s right now. Go get some sun on your face. Let it reset your hormones. Let it just feel the sun caressing your face or kissing your face. Just for a few minutes. No more than 10. Breathe in that cool, clear, crisp air. And let the sun reset you. That let the fresh air reset you. And remember that you are a beloved child of God in whom God is well pleased, always and forever. That is our state of grace. And this afternoon, open the windows and let some fresh air into your house. Let some fresh light into your house. Let it air out those dark and dusty, cobwebby places in you. It's springtime. Go and see nature exploding around you in all of the wonderful ways that it is doing. All right. And always, because I love it so much, open the windows of your soul. Allow that breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven now. And springtime is a great time to see that. All right, beloveds. Let's see. It's Monday. So if there is a book study today, it starts at 6 p.m. If you're interested in that, then please, if you don't get the emails, email info@creativelife.org. You can get on that email list and get the Zoom link for that. I think they're still doing Divine Audacity. I'm not sure. But there is that available today for you. Reverend David will be on Facebook Live around 5 p.m. with you. And Sunday is up on both Facebook and YouTube. So please check that out. Jesse was really amazing. It was the balance of science and faith. It was really cool, and I don't think that I gave it a good enough description, so I'm going to go edit the description on YouTube. And as always, these are archived on the Running Rev Ryan YouTube, so feel free to go check that out. Do what you need to do to make it a wonderful day. All right? Drink some water. Take a couple of deep breaths and know that you are loved. All right, beloveds? See you tomorrow.